Thank you so much for tuning back in Nevada News Live, taking a look at the Dakota Magic Skycam. Things are quiet as of now. However, that will all change over the next couple hours with a first alert weather day for tomorrow on Tuesday for some severe storms and some damaging winds. Now, this is a look at the severe storm prediction outlook. Now, this yellow color is that level 2 and that marginal level, and that is going to take place for most of North Dakota, where you can see that hail up to 2 inches, that wind gusts up to 60 and over 60-mile-an-hour winds, as well as that chance of those isolated tornadoes. Now, everywhere else can have that chance of that green, which is that level 1 risk, where you can still have some of those severe thunderstorms, just not as severe as in the yellow. Now, right now we are tracking some clouds mostly in the central part of the valley and even a few showers. However, those are just some regular rain sprinkles. Now, like I said, this is a picture of that visible satellite where you can see those clouds, but we also are still tracking some Canadian wildfire smoke. Now, most of this is out of the way. However, areas like Baudette and in northern and that Lake of the Woods County area can still be affected and can still have some of that wildfire smoke. Now, temperatures are still sitting in the 70s for some along that Highway 2 corridor, but we have 80s up in Roseau and Baudette, 83 here in Fargo, 86 over in Oaks, and 87 over in Bismarck. And those temperatures are going to stay in those 80s throughout the day today and even in those 90s tomorrow. Now, by around the 8 o'clock time tonight, most of us are still going to sit in those 70s and those 80s for us, but we also get those storms already starting to brew out in the central and western part of North Dakota. Now, as those storms do continue to make their way closer, by around midnight is when the western part of our counties can start to see this line of these storms. Now, these storms will continue to move through the rest of the overnight hours, and by 4 a.m. they do start to break apart. Now, we have one area near that Grand Forks and stretching over that I-29 corridor, whereas the southern part of these storms do go into South Dakota. Now, these storms do continue to make its way through parallel to that I-94 corridor throughout the rest of Minnesota. And for your morning commute, temperatures are still going to be in the 60s, but it is going to be a little bit of a messy commute near that Lakes Country area. Now, throughout the rest of your morning, we do get a little bit of a break. Temperatures are going to increase into those 80s and some even in those 90s, whereas tomorrow afternoon, in the late afternoon and evening, we get another round of showers. Now, this is where we're going to start to see that more severe risk, once again starting in our western counties and making their way through. However, after that sun dies down, we continue to have these storms weaken throughout the rest of your evening hours. Now, for your hometown forecast tomorrow, like I said, temperatures are going to be in those 80s, but some of us are going to be in those 90s, 90 here in Fargo, 89 in Jamestown, and 89 in Grand Forks as well for your forecast for tomorrow afternoon. Now, over the next couple days, those heat and those temperatures are still going to be in those 90s and 80s with that first alert weather day on Tuesday. We have another chance of some leftover and morning showers on Wednesday due to some of these storms we just saw. And even on Thursday and throughout the rest of the week, temperatures are going to stick around in those 80s with yet another chance of showers and storms Friday into Saturday and even into the weekend and into next week. Temperatures are going to stick around being very seasonable in those 80s and even a few 50s and maybe even some 40s in the morning just in next week. But otherwise, just got to get through the first alert weather day and the heat over the next couple days.
We've had a lot of those really hot days this summer.
Yes.
So people, I think, are looking forward to those nice
little
still
cool
summer-like,
down.
still summer-like, just not quite as hot.
Yeah.